Zaman, thank you for your time and the thoughts that you may have on India-Bangladesh relations and the wider South Asian region. First question: what do you think is the current state of India-Bangladesh relations, and where do you think the cooperation is at its peak right now, 50 years after Bangladesh became an independent nation?
Uh, Today, India-Bangladesh relationship at a bilateral level is one of the best we have ever had in our history. So we have excellent cooperation on the economic side. We have excellent cooperation on various issues of security, of mutual interest. There are a lot of avenues that we are working on joint connectivity. So on multiple fronts, there are excellent areas of cooperation, and they are working pretty well, and they're expanding. But at the same time, I would also like to suggest that we have a relationship that has graduated to the level that we should now try and experiment or open up to new avenues. For example, we should work on issues of mutual science cooperation, for example, because it is going to be a science-based world as we enter now. We have to look at issues of concerns for climate change, of which both countries are extremely vulnerable. We are both maritime nations sharing the Indian Ocean. So, therefore, we must think about cooperation on the maritime domain, which will be a primary area of strategic interest. So, we have to look at new areas of cooperation and graduate to the next level of our bilateral relationships.
I can see that, and I think looking at some of the visits that Bangladesh has been witnessing from the neighborhood countries, from Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bhutan, Nepal, and now Prime Minister Modi is also in Dhaka, and then going elsewhere. Do you think multilateral initiatives like the BBIN or even electricity grid connectivity between Bhutan, India, Bangladesh, or a maritime kind of a cooperation between Bangladesh, India, and Indonesia can work? Because you also run this think tank, an excellent think tank in Bangladesh. What are the avenues besides what you spoke about? Would it be possible to spell out some of them? Say people to people contact, but not just in the classical cultural terms, but also in terms of joint ventures or some of the new skills, because Bangladesh is now a tiger economy. How would that benefit each other, just not India, but the region?
Excellent question and ideas. I would like to suggest that we must explore more ways of working on a sub regional basis. For example, the northeastern Bangladesh have a lot of things in common, and there are areas that we can further expand for our cooperation. You mentioned about the power grid, and there are also sub regional efforts. So there are now efforts to work out power grids between Nepal, India, and Bangladesh for this part of the subcontinent. That is an excellent idea. We need to work further on water sharing. And this is a thorny issue, both between Bangladesh and India, and also on a regional scale. At the same time, you are quite aware that the issues of Brahmaputra water sharing between China and India is becoming problematic. So it is time for us to look at these issues so that we not only work on a bilateral basis, we also look at sub regional and regional issues. I'm quite confident that the people to people relationship that exists between Bangladesh should be translated to more substantial gain basis for people. It should not be confined to language or cultural affinity that we have with our friends in India, but we should translate this into more issues of economic activity, more issues of educational activity, more issues of environmental activities that can be more sustaining in our partnership and relationship. And those are the areas we should look at now.
So one of the constant questions when it comes to the subcontinent, and which is any other country you go to, is this big inroads China is supposed to have done into countries in South Asia around India. How is that panning out in Bangladesh? Is China a major partner here with Bangladesh? Is China making efforts to do a lot of things with Bangladesh? How should India look at this?
China is a major partner and a player in Bangladesh. During the visit of President Xi to Bangladesh in 2016, our relationship on a bilateral basis was upgraded to strategic partnership level. And that is the relationship that exists between Bangladesh and China. You'd know that Bangladesh is also a signatory to BRI, in which the Chinese government has pledged 40 billion USD dollars, and we have a number of Chinese sponsored or funded projects in Bangladesh. They are basically infrastructural and connectivity projects, and some in the power sector. China is also our biggest trading partner on a bilateral basis. China's soft power expansion in Bangladesh is also quite massive. And thousands and thousands of Bangladeshi students today study in China. The Chinese language centers in Bangladesh are numerous. It is not only confined to the Confucius centers, there are private Chinese learning centers in Bangladesh. So there is a fair amount of expansion of Chinese soft power into Bangladesh. And they also enjoy a fairly friendly and congenial people to people relationship between Chinese people and Bangladeshi people. So, on the whole, I would say that China is a very active player in Bangladesh, not only in economic skills, but also in terms of its BRI presence and also in terms of its soft power presence.
That's something. That's something a lot of people don't know. And should that be worrying India? How do you see that competition playing out in Bangladesh?
We, as a small country in South Asia, would benefit from our friendship to all. And that is the kind of a small power strategic autonomy we want to retain. So we are a great friend of India. Our ties to India are not only confined to our bilateral relationship, but it is historical and it's civilizational. So that is something that cannot be equated with any other relationship. At the same time, Bangladesh and the region is in great deficit of infrastructure needs. And that is a need that can only be filled up by our partnership with China. So therefore, I would like to say that we are friends of China, we are great friends of India, and we will be friends to anybody with whom we have mutual interest.
That's a great answer, and I think that sums up the place in which Bangladesh finds itself today. I think advantage from both sides, and of course, helping the people to develop and progress and become prosperous. On that note, thank you very much, General, for your time and excellent insights into where we are in Bangladesh today.